5 mistakes you need to avoid making during your self-improvement journey. What is going on, guys? My name is Dane, and I have been on my own self-improvement journey now for the past 4 years, and here are 5 mistakes that I wish I would have known when I had started. I had to learn these 5 things the hard way myself, which is why I am making this video for you guys, so that you can try and avoid making these mistakes yourself, so that it doesn't take you 4 years to get to the point it took me. Maybe it'll only take you 2, maybe it'll only take you 1 if you really tried. Alright, let's get straight into it. Starting with point number 1, you are not taking advantage of momentum. Whether it is something as simple as a skincare routine or something like going to the gym, if you do not take advantage of momentum, you are not going to make it to the point that you desire to be at least not in the amount of time it should take. When you start a new habit or a new routine, it has to be exactly that. It has to be a part of your everyday life. For example, you start going to the gym. You're going 5 days a week. It's going great. You're going for months. You go for years even. Every single week you go 5 days a week. And then one week you decide to only go 4 days. Then you're only going 4 days a week from there on out. Then one day you decide to only go 3, then 2, all the way back down to not going at all. Why did this happen? Well, it's because you stopped taking advantage of momentum. You were on an upward pace and then you slowly started to decline and drop off. And let me tell you, this is one of the biggest downfalls for most men, is they just slowly start to fall off. They don't take advantage of momentum. Even if it's not your greatest lift, even if you're not throwing up the heaviest weights that day you go, even if you're not feeling the best in the gym, whatever it might be, you're feeling a little depressed, you don't want to go be around people, it is those days when you don't feel like going that matter the most, because that is what keeps the momentum going upwards. Now, not only does the momentum start to fall off, but this also affects your mindset very heavily, because then what happens? You stop, you start to slow down, then you get in your own head, and over time you slowly start to lose trust in yourself, where your trust used to be up here when you were going 5 days a week. You felt like the man, you knew you were doing what you needed to do. But once you slowly start to fall off, you start to lose a little bit of respect for yourself. You start to fall off, and that trust that you had for yourself slowly starts to die out. And when you have no trust in yourself, well, then you're because that trust is what will carry you through those days you don't feel like doing what you should be doing. So those days that you don't feel like going, those are the ones that really matter the most, because they will keep you moving on an upward spiral. This leads into point number 2. You're falling back into your bad habits. Now, you don't need me to tell you what your bad habits are. You know what they are. The first thing that came to mind when I said this, you should know what it is. This is something I have struggled with in the past. Like I had said, I learned these things all the hard way myself. I still struggle with it to this day. For me, it usually tends to happen when the summer months roll around, because all winter I'm so productive. It's snowing outside. It's freezing fucking cold up in Canada. I got nothing else to do. As soon as the summer months rolled around, warm weather outside, all these distractions, these bad habits, they'll creep back into your life. You need to be able to be aware enough to stop these things before they get too far and pull you away from your purpose. It is very important to identify these early on in your journey so that you're able to stop them early enough before they take over your life again, which is why you need to be able to do point number 3. Minimizing negative self-talk, especially when you slip up. It is easy to slip up every now and again. Like I said, you're surrounded by all these distractions. It's pretty easy to fall back in. And when you do fall back in, you need to be able to be kind to yourself. You need to be able to have control over your own thoughts, because what you think in your mind will naturally curate your reality. When you are going out and you are doing these bad things you know you shouldn't be doing, but you do them anyways, and then you get in your own head afterwards because you know you shouldn't have done them, and you start thinking negatively to yourself, and you're telling yourself, I'm a loser, I shouldn't have done that, why did I do that? You have to be able to let it go. It happened. That's natural. Self-improvement does not just go like this. There's going to be bumps, there's going to be dips, right? It's going to happen. You need to be able to be mentally strong enough to stop yourself in your own thoughts and say, no, you know what? It happened. Let it go. Shit happens, right? I'm a human being. Nobody's perfect. Let's keep moving forward. Because naturally there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be missed opportunities. You're going to make mistakes all along the way. You need to be able to be positive in your own thoughts, because that is what is going to keep you moving forward. And those mistakes, those setbacks, those opportunities missed, those are there for a reason. They're there for you to learn from. You need to be able to look at these things and not be so negative in your own mind and think, fuck, I messed up. Damn. Shouldn't have done that. You need to sit back and think and be like, okay, cool, that happened. I know it happened. I know I made a mistake. How can I avoid making that same mistake again in the future? Look at it and see what you did wrong. Take full accountability for what you did and just sit with it for a little bit, and don't be negative about it. Learn from it, because they're there for you to learn. Now, mistake number 4, lots of guys tend to make this, and that is lying to yourself and not being self-aware. If you are falling back into your bad habits, or you have slowed down your progress, you need to be able to put your ego aside and just realize what you're doing, what's going on in your life. This has happened to me many times before, where I'll slip up and I'll tell myself, it's okay. Like, shit happens, right? I can do this because I'm still young. I'm only 20. I can do what I want, right? I told myself that it wasn't a problem when it most certainly was. Even if the problem wasn't as grand as it was for other people, it's still a problem. It was cope to make myself feel better. But you know what actually would make me feel a lot better? Is if I just didn't do it in the first place and I kept working towards my self-improvement goals. Lots of guys will do this. They'll make mistakes and they know they're mistakes. Deep down, they know they should not be doing it, but they'll lie to themselves and tell themselves that it's okay. And it's just cope. It's just cope to try and make you feel a little bit better about yourself. And this cope allows you to, completely neglect your consequences of your own actions. This is why you need to be honest with yourself. You need to put your ego aside, and you need to make sure that these natural plateaus, when they happen, or these natural things that come around, you don't feel so good, so I'm gonna go out and drink with the boys, or whatever it might be. You need to look at these things with logic. You can't sit there and be like, no, it's all good, whatever. Like I said before, these things are natural, they're going to happen, but you have to be able to know that these things that are happening, they're not good, they're not in your own best interest. You need to be able to face your own consequences of the actions you are taking, right? You don't want to face them with a negative self-thought that we touched on last point, but you need to be able to understand that these things are going to happen, and you need to face them without lying to yourself. All right, mistake number 5, the final mistake I see most guys making, is they get way too comfortable. This usually happens somewhere along your self-improvement journey, where a pretty girl comes along and she sweeps you off your feet. And a lot of the times, most guys, they get too comfortable and stop doing what they need to be doing because they're getting a little bit of pussy now and they think life's great. I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to be going to the gym anymore. Like, I'm set, right? And what happens is you stop doing the things that led that girl to become attracted to you in the first place. So she's going to lose attraction to you, and now you're going to lose that girl, and you're going to be off your purpose. So you're fucking yourself over 2 times. She leaves you. Now you're sitting there with no girl, heartbroken. You're too comfortable. You stop doing all the things you should have done, and now you're in this slump and you don't know what to do. This does not mean you need to completely neglect women on your self-improvement journey, because learning how to communicate and become good with girls is all a part of self-improvement. You're not going to get a girl by just going to the gym and making a little bit of money. You have to learn how to communicate with them. You need to be able to be good in a relationship. But when that girl is pulling you away from your purpose, you're screwed. So there you have it. Those are 5 mistakes that most guys make when they start their self-improvement journey. If you found this helpful, drop a like, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out, boys.